Michael Holden Commodore. Sitting right alongside him is the BP Car Care car of champion-elect Terry Wyhoon. Row 2 sees
Goodyear Auscar Series 95-96. 3 cars out in front. John Faulkner, Terry Wyhoon and Nathan Pretty.
Pretty doing a terrific job, but Wyhoon all of a sudden is smoking. Steve Harrington, did you see the BP Car Care car?
Definitely, Gerald. There's a wisp of smoke coming out of the back of the car. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see if it gets any worse.
John Faulkner so far, though, out in front and doing a terrific job. Has won a number of races this season, and the better electrical car is looking really good.
Hello, problems there with smoke.
It's Faulkner. It's Faulkner. Faulkner's gone out. He's dropped down low. We're talking how good he's going. All of a sudden, he's out. Harrington, what do you think?
He's definitely broken some right-hand front suspension there, Gerald. You can see the wheel is tucked right under the guard. It's definitely a suspension failure.
What sort of feeling is John Faulkner having at the moment? He's out in front, he's leading, lap 24, 25, all of a sudden it's gone back to nothing.
Oh, he'll be terrifically disappointed. I mean, he'll be just heartbroken. I know that he had it in his mind to go out on a winning note, because this is possibly his last ever Auscar ride, and he really wanted to go out with a race win here.
Steve, can he actually back up pit lane like he's doing right there?
No, he can't, Gerald. The race director will have something to say about that one.
Well, the crew head to the car. I don't think they can do anything about it, and it looks as though John Faulkner's night has finished for the better electrical Fisher and Paykel team. The car 46, and Faulkner disappointed, but he's got the NASCAR race to go as Terry Wyhoon leads them around yet again.
And I noticed, Gerald, that the smoke has increased somewhat out of the back of Terry Wyhoon's car there.
That's Terry Wyhoon leading. He's the nominal series leader, and that smoke is getting worse, Steve.
Definitely, Brian. I think that Terry will be keeping a close eye on the gauges in the car. He'll be in constant touch with his pit crew, and I'm quite sure that the officials will be having a look at that also.
John Faulkner out of the car. His race is run with the 46 Holden Commodore. He'll be sad. Wyhoon, though, continues. He has clinched the championship. The black flag is out. What a disappointing way for him to race in the championship decider here for the Goodyear Auscar Series. The black flag out. Steve, he'll have to call into the pits on the next lap.
You're quite correct, Gerald. Terry will have to come in and have the car seen to.
Well, it's certainly a shame for Terry Wyhoon, but as you were saying, he already has the championship wrapped up, and I think he only had to complete about 1 lap tonight to complete that championship win, which is fantastic for the boy from Currumbara.
Wyhoon stays out at the moment. The black flag again waved for him. He will have to call into the pit area. See that smoke there? Obviously, for the drivers behind too, Steve, it's going to cause some problems.
Yeah, the smoke isn't that heavy at the moment, Gerald. It must be only a very small or a minor oil leak in the car. Terry will be in constant touch with his pits, and he'll be keeping a close eye on the gauges, and he'll be trying to stay out there, I think.
Let's hope it doesn't cause too many troubles. Oh, boy, there is trouble on the racetrack. Gutierrez and Shields have had problems. Nicole Pretty in her debut has gone in, and it's fire. Fire on the racetrack. Gutierrez is on fire. The yellows are out. The Heister car up in flames. Gutierrez is okay. The Calder Park fire crew right onto the job. Here comes Gutierrez getting out of the car, but boy, Steve Harrington, it looked as though Nicole Pretty was committed and she had nowhere to go.
Yes, a very unfortunate situation there for Nicole, Gerald. She committed herself to the low line, and unfortunately it looked like she couldn't avoid the accident.
Certainly action aplenty in this 80-lap final of the Goodyear Auscar Series. More after this break. 3 of the Goodyear Auscar Series final, an 80-lap race. Nathan Pretty in front. He's been leading for the last 10 laps.
Doing a terrific job out in front in the Caterpillar Holden Commodore. And Steve Harrington, former Auscar and NASCAR driver, Pretty is a great young talent.
The Albury-based Brad Jones protege, he's a definite talent, Gerald.
Bruce Williams now on screen in the number 9 Bendix Midtex Holden Commodore, leading Jason Wiley, another young Tasmanian, car number 26, a Computerland Holden Commodore. The interesting part here, we're coming up on lap 45 when the compulsory pit stops start, and this is where the race could be run and won, and Wiley's going into the pit area, Steve.
Yep. He's about to go down a lap. What's going to happen here, Gerald, is everyone's going to have to pit under a green flag situation, under racing conditions, and every car that does that is going to lose a lap. I think that Jason has done the right thing here and come in at the earliest opportunity.
Now, 15-lap window of opportunity to come in for that compulsory green, and the leader, Nathan Pretty, sitting out and looking pretty good. Brian, it's going to be interesting to see when he decides to stop.
All eyes, Gerald, will be on car 2. Nathan Pretty, the young fella from Wodonga, who's doing extremely well. But another car coming in. Darren McDonald is coming into the pits.
The Power Mac team over the fence very quickly, but Nathan Pretty continues to stay out in the number 2 Cat car, and he takes the high line up the back straight here at Calder Park Thunderdome. Nice and low now, down turn 1 and 2, and Steve Harrington, Nathan Pretty is waving inside that car.
That's right. You can see him waving his arm there. That's indicating that he's coming into the pit lane to commence his pit stop. It's going to be a very critical time for the Caterpillar team here. If he can get in and out in the shortest possible time, he'll come out leading the race.
So the Cat crew out working on that car furiously. Eddie Abel-Nika also in the Melbourne Cheapest Cars. Commodore, he's doing a terrific job in his rookie year of Auscar racing.
Interesting too, Steve, to see that they're using manual jacks.
That is a regulation. In Auscar racing, they must use a manual jack to jack the car up and remove the wheels.
A fantastic pit stop by the Pretty team, but Marshall Brewer in the fast track racing Goodyear Ford Falcon is currently leading. And what a great year he had last season. Took out the championship, and now, with a change to the Ford, is in the lead, Brian.
He certainly is, Gerald, and he's got a great chance of winning this race. We've seen already a number of fortunes change. The compulsory pit stops. Be interesting to see too how Marshall Brewer's pit stop goes.
Now he's leaving it very late. We see another one of the drivers coming in. That's Bruce Williams, the Bendix number 9 car. This car is off to Malaysia tomorrow. It's in a container. He wants to keep it in one piece.
10 laps to go, the scheduled 80-lap final of the Goodyear Auscar Series at the Thunderdome.
Terry Wyhoon unfortunately won't be contesting those last 10 laps, but 2 young guns are Nathan Pretty and Jason Wiley, and Steve Harrington, a young driver in a hurry up the front. We've got 2 of them battling it out, and Marshall Brewer, the most experienced, right behind them. It's going to be a great race to the finish.
Sensational, Gerald. It could not be better. Look at Nathan and Jason going for it there. Just having a look at the cars, it seems that maybe Jason's car's set up just a little better at this end of the race.
Jason Wiley driving the Computerland Holden Commodore out of the stable of John Faulkner in Melbourne. Brewer goes the inside line on Wiley. Wiley closes the door though, and Nathan Pretty still out in front and just 9 laps remaining.
All cars having completed their compulsory pit stops.
Marshall's just playing a waiting game here, Brian. He's easing up onto the back of Jason on the odd occasion, just trying to push him, just trying to hurry him up a bit, trying to get him to work his tyres hard.
Now the question too, Steve, when the drivers are sitting right on the tail of each other as they're going through the bends, do you feel, as we see Wiley go under Pretty into turns 1 and 2, and he takes the lead, will he take it all of the way home? Will Brewer get through past Pretty? No, he doesn't. But do the drivers get unstable once they're leading nose to tail through the bends?
Not really, Gerald. The cars, Auscars, are very stable in this situation. There is a little bit of air that is taken away, but in the middle of a corner, as you're talking about, no, the cars are quite stable.
So Wiley leads, Pretty in second, Brewer in third.
About 40 metres separating the first 4 cars, and George Karitzis appears to be making a run in 5th.
Fantastic, 210 kilometres per hour average laps around the Calder Park Thunderdome, and it's bumper to bumper as Pretty dives down the inside of Wiley. Wiley holds him out yet again, and this is just terrific. We are on lap number 74 of 80, and it's a race to the checkered flag.
This is sensational stuff, Gerald. Look at this, 3 young guys and the old bloke there. There's 3 young chargers and Marshall Brewer in there, and he's just sitting back playing a waiting game at the moment.
Oh boy, Pretty and Wiley got very, very close. Marshall Brewer, no doubt, just feeding off the drivers at the moment, letting the car do all the work, letting the drivers in front do all the work.
5 cars there, and Steve, they appear to be very close nose to tail. Is that what's called drafting?
That's correct, Brian. all these cars, this lead bunch of cars are now, well, they're not drafting just at the moment, but when they are nose to tail, that's what's called drafting.
3 abreast that time, coming into turn number 1. Out of 2 in the Cat Cam. Here we go up the back straight. It's Nathan Pretty. We see Marshall Brewer out in front. Here they come, reaching 240 kilometres, hard onto the brakes, and Pretty's been squeezed out. He's gone all over the place. The hands are working. Yellow lights on. Let's go to the Goodyear replay. Just a squeeze out, Steve.
Definitely, like 3 into 2 just doesn't go. What a sensational job these young guys have done, particularly Jason and Nathan, of saving the cars, keeping them off the wall.
3 laps to go of the scheduled 80-lap race. The car's under the pace car as it's now peeling off the track. Steve, what's the strategy now?
Just go for it, Brian. It's a matter of gloves off and let's just go for it. It's a race to the finish now.
Nathan Pretty has made a blinder of a start in the Cat car. He's made up a spot already by the checkered strike across the track, and it is Marshall J. Brewer in the lead. George Karitzis, another one of the young rookies, in second, and Nathan Pretty in third as they head up the back straight with just 2.5 to go.
Gerald, Marshall J. Brewer leading. You mentioned he had a great season last year, not so good this year, but how fitting it would be if he managed to pull off the most important race, the final race of the season.
Well, it would be fitting, Brian. He is the reigning champion up until the conclusion of this race. He has developed this brand new Ford Falcon after running the Commodore for many years, and it would be a well-deserved win.
Marshall J. Brewer out in front, only a matter of a couple of laps to go.
George Karitzis doing a terrific job back in second. Eddie Abel-Nika in third. They're coming around turns 3 and 4 right at the moment. Brewer looking very, very good for the win. The white flag's at the ready. Karitzis and Abel-Nika touch. They touched once. They've touched twice. Abel-Nika's into the wall. It's a big one. The Melbourne's cheapest car is the cheapest car out there at the moment. That's a big one. And Marshall Brewer is going to get the win. Let's look at the in-car Cat Cam. And there's Karitzis and Abel-Nika. They touch once, touch twice, off to the left. Now let's look at that other angle. And Steve Harrington, you really couldn't apportion the blame to either driver here. It's a bit of both.
Definitely a racing incident there, Gerald, and that's a huge crash. Like, wow, what a hit from Eddie.
Well, Eddie Abel-Nika is okay. He is out of the car. The car comes to a rest there, but Marshall Brewer, under yellows, under caution, takes his first win of the year, and what a fantastic win it was, Brian.
Gerald, you mentioned earlier what a fantastic year Marshall Brewer, who's one of the veterans of the Auscar class, his brand new car this time, takes the checkered flag, and as we mentioned before, what a fitting win.
It was, but let's talk to the new champion. Terry Wyhoon, tough race, but the championship's yours. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we're a bit disappointed. I mean, every time you come here, you learn something, and I was that disappointed in pit lane there when we were pulled in with the oil leak, and I guess that's the way it goes, but we've yet to win one here.
While Terry Wyhoon's day mightn't have come today, it did for Marshall Brewer. He took out the